Hi guys, happy to see you all back to this video. So in this video we're just going to see what the various cloud deployment models and benefits and challenges of the cloud computing. Okay, and in the past videos we have seen about the introduction to the cloud computing, roots of cloud computing, features of cloud computing, and the various services, the three types of services that are provided by the cloud environment, right? So if you wish, you can watch that video. And in this video we're just going to see what the types of various types of clouds and benefits and challenges of the cloud environment. Okay, so let us see one by one. And so coming to the types of clouds, so we are having types of cloud like first one is the private cloud, and second one is the public cloud, and third one is the hybrid cloud, and the fourth one is the community cloud. Okay, so we are having four types of clouds. One is the private cloud, and second one is the public cloud, and third one is the hybrid cloud, and fourth one is the community cloud. Okay, and before getting into this type of clouds, I would like to tell about the two important points. Okay, and what are that in the sense you must know the difference between the authentication and the authorization, right? So what do you mean by authentication? Okay, what does it mean in the sense who you are, okay? And coming to the authorization in the sense what you can do. So consider we are having one type of environment. We are having one type of cloud environment. Okay, say it could be any kind of environment. Okay, when a user say A, he wishes to get in that environment, he wishes to get into that particular environment. First he has to authenticate. So the authentication is normally done with the help of login credentials. Normally the login credentials like username and password is one of the main components that we are using for authenticating any user. So once the username and password is being validated, then the particular user is authenticated to get into that particular environment. Say for an example, this cloud environment we are having n number of services, right, from S1 to Sn in the sense. So all type of services, he is not in a position to avail all type of services unless he is having the privilege. Okay, suppose if the particular user is having a privilege to access only the service 1 and service 2 in the sense, only these two services can be accessed by the particular user, and rest of the services, right, from the from S3 to Sn, he is not in a position to avail such type of services. The user is not in a position to avail the services from the service 3 to service N, because the privileges has been set for the particular A is that he can access only this type of services. Okay, say for an example, what do you mean by authentication? The authentication, which means that by giving up his username and password, by giving up his login credentials, he will be authenticated to enter into that particular environment. So even though he could be entered into the authenticated to enter into the environment, he is not in a position to avail all services that are provided by that particular cloud environment. Okay, say for an example, if you are having a number of services from S1 service 1 to service N, if he is in a position to access only two set of services only, and these two services only will be provided to that particular user, and rest of the services will be restricted by the particular cloud environment by accessing for accessing to the user A. Okay, so these two set of authentication and authorization is very much important when we wish to know about the types of cloud, how the particular cloud could be deployed. Okay, so let us see that. Okay, so we will see one by one. Okay, first we are going to see about the private cloud. So consider so if I am setting up if I am creating a the cloud environment for an organization, then what the particular cloud environment cloud environment can be used only by the person who belongs to that particular organization, Any outsiders, any external user, he or she is not in a position to enter into the particular environment, because whatever the resources that the particular organization is having, so that could be accessed only by the employees, by authenticating himself, by authenticating themselves, okay, like by giving his username and password. By giving up his username and password, he or she in a position to they can access the resources that belongs to the particular organization. If the cloud is being set up, for an organization only, then the particular cloud is called as a private cloud. Okay, and external user is not in a position. They are not in a position to access the resources that are provided in a private cloud environment. Okay, so that is the beauty of the private cloud. Okay, so this private cloud can be set up in two ways. One is on-premise private cloud and another one is outside private cloud. Say for an example, if all type of resources, right from the resource 1 to resource n, if all the resources that are present inside an organization itself, then the particular setup is called as on-premise private cloud. But coming to the next one, outsourced private cloud, in the sense those set of resources are put up in a outside of the organization. So consider this is an organization, okay, and whoever the employees they are reside in the particular organization, they will be accessing the resources in the particular cloud that are being outsourced by the third party. Okay, so normally the private cloud can be deployed in two ways. One is on-premise private cloud and another one is outsourced private cloud. Okay, and these two things are possible for deploying the private cloud. Coming on to the advantages, so one of the main advantages is privacy, data privacy and the security. Obviously, in a private cloud, no external users are allowed to enter into the private environment. So thereby they can restrict the access of resources to the external users. Okay, obviously, and compared to the other codes, it provides a better performance, and and it is suitable for organization that they are recording separate code. If they wish to setting up their own cloud, then private cloud is one of the best option rather than going on to the another set of cloud. If the first priority is data security, in the sense, obviously every organization has to set up their own private cloud environment, right? Okay, and like the advantages of private cloud, we are having a disadvantages also that we are going to see on the next slide. Obviously, we are in need of skilled people. Okay, so say for an example, if an organization have their own private cloud, in the sense, then what a skilled people is needed in order to manage such type of environment. So if they are having any problems, that has to be troubleshooted properly, right? Isn't it? Okay, so normally the skilled peoples have to be employed by the particular organization in order to provide the cloud services to the employees of the particular organization. And obviously the limited scalability and restricted area operations will be there, and these are the disadvantages of the private cloud. Okay, so here I would like to give you an example for the private cloud. So consider an organization, an educational organization. Okay, so they are having the portal for the students, as well as for the faculties. Okay, say for an example, so they are having the portal. So consider an organization, an education organization like ABC. Okay, so they are having the portal for the students as well as for the staffs. Okay, so both of them have to be enter into the particular environment for availing the services, by authenticating themselves, like providing their username and password. Both of them have to be provided. Say for an example, in a student portal, he or she can view the internal marks, like the marks that the particular student has secured, and as well as the utterance details and rest of the co-curricular details. They could able to see that. Okay, but for the staff, the authorization will be more, the privileges will be more. He can post the utterance, or he can modify the utterance, or he can post the internal marks, and he can modify the internal marks. And the final internal assessment could be generated. Okay, just look at the difference, and the same set of resources are being accessed by both of the both category of the organization. One is a student, another is a staff. But for the student, the customization would be the customized operation would be he or she is in a position just to view the mark, just to review their review their performance, but but in case of staff, but in case of faculty, he can post the mark, he can post the attendance, he can modify the thing, and he can do most of the operations. Okay, so like this we can able to set up their own own private code environment, and based on the resources what what the particular organization wishes to provide to their end users. Okay, it is based on the, so the private cloud is purely customized, that is purely based on their respective organization needs, respective organization requirements. Okay, and coming to the next type, public cloud. So okay, so the public cloud, which means that it is open to all, it is open to all. So even though the public cloud is open to all, the user has to authenticate himself by he has to authenticate himself by providing username and password, or else any other login credentials. Okay, so once the login credential is being validated, then he or she can avail the resources from the public cloud. He or she can avail the resources from the public cloud. Okay, say for an example, what are the types of services that are provided on the public cloud? In the sense, storage services, messaging services, the platform services, application services, like and the perfect example I would like to give here is Gmail environment, or Google Drive, or else Google Docs. So these are some set of examples that comes under the public cloud, because Google the particular Google is open to all. So initially when a user is signing up into the Google environment, he will be provided some set of services at free of cost. Okay, and once they reach the threshold value, then those services could be availed. Those G Drive, initially 15 GB will be given at free of cost, and once I go beyond that 15 GB, then I have to purchase the storage space. For storing and retrieving content, right? Okay, so this is these set of things could be a perfect example for the public cloud. Okay, so if I wish to get into the the Google environment, so initially what I have to do, I have to sign up myself, right, by giving my the first name and last name and so on, so details. Okay, once I have given my name, then I will be given an username and password. Okay, and with the help of that username and password, I am getting into the particular environment for availing such type of services. Okay, and this is one of the perfect example for for the public cloud. Okay, and so some of the some of the providers are Amazon, IBM, Microsoft, Google, Rackspace, and they are some of the providers. Okay, and normally, so this type of cloud is in need of internet connectivity. So without internet connection, any cloud user is not in a position to avail the services from the public cloud. Okay, so one of the important mandatory thing over here is the particular cloud users they should have an internet connection to avail such type of services. Okay, and coming to the advantages, we are having a set of advantages. One is the low cost, to save time, and easy to set up, location dependent, and scalable and reliable. Okay, and coming to the first one, advantages, obviously we no need to worry about the underlying hardware, we no need to worry about the underlying hardware and other type of environment where we gonna access the services, right? Okay, say for an example, if I wish to avail a Gmail application, I no need to worry about the underlying operating system, or I no need to worry about the underlying hardware. Okay, because these things will be that will be taken care by the particular cloud service provider, particular Google provider, right? Okay, I no need to worry about these underlying things. Okay, so that's why it could be the low cost, and so since I no need to worry about the underlying hardware and underlying operating system, obviously that will save my time for taking care of such things, and obviously it is easy to set up. Okay, so if I wish to avail this set of services, I no need to install any additional hardware or additional software is required. I just need of a browser and with the internet connection. If I'm having these two things, then I'm in a position to avail the services that are provided by the public cloud. And next one is location independent. Obviously we do not know where my data has been residing. Obviously I can access my data, I can access the services when wherever I'm traveling in the wherever I'm traveling. Okay, so next advantage is the scalable and reliable. Obviously, so I can scale up my resources as well as I can scale down my resources based on my need. Okay, so these are some set of advantages of the particular public cloud. Okay, and for the public cloud, one of the best example here is the Google Docs or Gmail, and what a Google Drive, and those things could be the perfect example for the public cloud. Okay, and coming to the disadvantages, obviously low security, because I do not know where my data has resided. Okay, because the Google is having the data center in all corners of the world for delivering the services to the end users, and I do not know where my data has been resided, and how my data could be kept securely. Okay, this is one of the important concern when I'm coming into the public cloud. But rather in a private cloud, I'm having an own setup organization where I'm going to put up my data. But when I'm coming into the public cloud, okay, I do not know where my data is going to be reside. Okay, this is one of the important constraint when we are getting into the public cloud. Okay, so obviously the performance will be varied based on my internet connectivity. So if my internet connectivity is high, then I could access all the services without any delay. If my internet connectivity goes down, obviously the performance will also be down. Okay, and next one of the disadvantages, less customizable. Obviously, right, in a private cloud environment we can customize the functionality based on the requirements of the organization. Okay, I have given an example, right? So in an organization, for the student portal, I have some set of customized function. For the staff, I have some customized function, right? Isn't it? So in a private cloud environment, the customization is highly achievable, but in case of the public cloud, the customization is less achievable. I would like to give you a real-time example for this thing, and we will see that. Just give me a moment of time. Yeah, just getting into my Google account here. So these options are already customized by the the Gmail environment, like inbox, stored, snoozed, import and send drafts. Okay, the less customizable in the sense I can create my own label like FDP. Here I have created my FDP, notes, training, personal. Okay, so like this I have created my own label where I can move my mail to the respective label, right? Okay, and if I wish to remove the particular important this particular label, I'm not in a position to remove that, because so these things are already customized. These things are already customized by the Gmail environment. I am not in a position to remove the default things. Okay, but if I wish to remove my own label, then I am in a position to delete. I am in a position to delete that. Right, I am in a position to remove that. Okay, so that's why. So this public cloud is seems to be less customizable. Okay, so highly customization is not possible in a public cloud. Okay, hopefully I have given a proper example for this one, and for the public cloud, and as well as for the less customizable, I have given a proper example. Hopefully I believe that. And next we are going to see about the hybrid cloud. So what do you mean by hybrid cloud? In the sense, it is a mixture of public and private. Okay, so here I would like to give you an example. So consider ABC is an organization. ABC is an educational organization where they have their own the cloud environment for accessing the resources for the student as well as for the staff. Okay, as well as for the faculties. Okay, and here critical activities will be managed by the private cloud. Here the critical activities will be managed by the private cloud. Here, so when we are considering the educational organization, the internal marks, the marks, the mark assessment, the internal assessment, and the attendance, everything have to be kept securely, right? In order to do that, so these things are considered as a critical environment when we are considering it is an organization. Okay, so those critical activities, the data that are related to the critical activities will put up in a private cloud only. Will be put up in a private cloud. Okay, and the same organization, like for student and staff. Say for an example, if they are having a Moodle account, for conducting quiz or taking surveys in the sense. And Moodle is another set of cloud, and it's like a public cloud where the student and each and every organization have their own account in order to provide such type of services to the student as well as the staff. Okay, and these things are, so the normally the Moodle will be having for, to uploading the data, or to uploading the materials, or to take a survey, or to conduct some kind of, so little bit of assessment that may not comes under, that may not comes under, non-critical activity, that would be considered non-critical activities, but rather, storing the marks and storing the attendance and storing the other personal details of the student and staff, and that would be in under the private cloud. Okay, so because these things are comes under the critical activities. Okay, and here I'm having a two set of cloud, right? For a single organization, they are having their own private cloud, as well as, some of the details they have been put up in a public cloud. Okay, so if there is a mixture between the private and public cloud, then it could be called as a hybrid cloud. Okay, so this is the example for the hybrid cloud, how it could be implemented, how it could be done, so like a previous private and public cloud, and this also have some, has its own advantages and disadvantages. Let us see that one by one. Okay, and here coming to the advantages of the hybrid cloud, so it is obviously it is a secure one, because they have their own private cloud setup environment, and obviously it is a flexible one, because I can move around between the private and public cloud. So obviously the hybrid cloud is the flexible one. Coming to the disadvantages, networking issues and infrastructure compatibility and reliability. Obviously, if I am facing an internet connectivity issue, then I am not in a position to avail the services from the cloud environment. Okay, and infrastructure compatibility in the sense, when I am moving from one vendor to another vendor, then it is a trouble for me to handle such kind of issues. Okay, and these are some set of disadvantages of the hybrid cloud. Okay, and so far we have seen the private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. Now we are moving on to see about the community cloud. Okay, so normally what the community cloud means that, okay, say for an example, so consider a healthcare industry, name, I would like to give an organization name, one as A, and organization 2 as B, and organization 3 as 3 as C, organization 4 as D, and all the organization A, B, C, 4, D, and which comes under healthcare industry in the sense. Say for an example, if the person X1, X1 is registering his details in a hospital in a first organization A, then another user Y registering himself in organization B, another user Z is registering himself in organization C, and another user M, he is registering himself in organization D. If they are having a tie-up among this particular community, the MOU between these four companies in the sense, then the data of X can be shared by the B and C and the D organization. Likewise, the data of Z can be shared between these among these four for this organization. Okay, so why the community cloud is at present it is very highly is highly usable in the sense, because so when I'm sharing the data among the organization, I can increase the research activities, right? I can increase the research activities. Say for an example, if the user X is affected with some set of viruses V1 in the sense, if the organization is not in a position, the particular hospital is not in a position to diagnose the particular virus, then he might be transferred to the another higher end hospital. Okay, where the particular B hospital can access the data of X, and he might have they might have diagnosed the particular virus. Okay, so if they do not have a data, if the data has not shared between A and B, then B is not in a position to solve the issues of the particular person X. Okay, so if the cloud has been set up, if the cloud has been the data which is present in the cloud has been shared among the same community, then the particular cloud environment is called as the community cloud. Say for an example, the A has its own private cloud, as well as B has its own private cloud, and C has its own private cloud, and D has its own private cloud. When the data belongs to the private cloud can be shared between, if the data of the private cloud has been shared between the community, the same community in the sense, then this cloud setup environment could be called it as community cloud. Then this setup cloud environment is called it as community cloud. Okay, so this is the beauty of the community cloud, where the data can be shared among the communities. Okay, and like like the previous types of cloud, and this also has its own advantages and disadvantages. First one is flexible and scalable. Obviously it is a flexible and scalable, as I have said earlier. Security, and it has more security because every every organization has its own private cloud, so the security issues would not be there. And sharing infrastructure, obviously the data the data between the A and B organization could be shared among each other. Okay, so that is the beauty of the community cloud. Okay, and coming to the disadvantage of the cloud, it is not a good choice for every organization. Okay, so whenever there is need, if there is a demand, then we can set up the community cloud. Okay, if there is no demand in the sense, then A can have their own private code, B can have their own private code. Then there will be no sharing between the organization if it is not needed. Okay, if it is needed, then the sharing could be done. Okay, otherwise otherwise we can keep the data very securely. Okay, if the data is put up in a particular private environment. Okay, and these are some set of disadvantages when you are getting into the community cloud. Next one, the fixed amount of data storage and bandwidth is shared. Obviously, when the data has been shared among the among the communities, then obviously the bandwidth also, the network bandwidth also could be shared among the community members. So these are some set of disadvantages when we are getting into the community cloud environment. Okay, so far we have seen 4 types of cloud. One is private cloud, and second one is public cloud, and third one is hybrid cloud, and now we have seen about the community cloud. Okay, and next we are going to see about the benefits of cloud computing. So when a user getting into the cloud computing environment, when an organization get into the cloud computing environment, so what are the advantages, what are the benefits that they can avail, in the sense that they can taste, in the sense, first one is cost savings. Obviously in any kind of environment, they don't need to worry about the underlying hardware or underlying software, right? Okay, then they no need to worry about the updates the particular software is having. Okay, so automatically the updates will be done. So obviously the cost savings, one of the benefit of the cloud computing. And coming to the next one, backup and restores data. Say for an example, in our mobile we are having in WhatsApp, right? So saying that we are having an option to backup our data as in a daily basis, or in a weekly basis, or in a monthly basis, right? Okay, suppose if I lost my mobile and I'm purchasing a new mobile, and if I'm entering the same mobile number into the new mobile, in the sense, then automatically the backup data will be restored. This is one of the beauty of the cloud computing with the help of backup and restoring concept. And next one is reliability. Obviously when we are getting into the cloud computing environment, our data would be reliable. Okay, okay, and high availability. It is one of the important benefit of the cloud computing. So what is the meaning of high availability in the sense? The services could be availed in a 24/7 manner. Okay, so without any delay, without any issues, we can access our services, we can access our data in a 24/7 manner. That is called high availability. And quick deployment, obviously we do not worry about the additional hardware devices, additional software that that we need to be kept in a end user side. Okay, and everything will be taken care by the cloud environment. And coming to the next one, on demand self service. Obviously it is a cloud computing is an on demand only, right? Isn't it? So whenever the user is requesting on that time only, the services will be given to the the user end. Okay, the next one is location and device independence. Obviously, okay, so wherever I'm moving onto the world, still I can access the data. That is called as the location independence, device independence. Obviously, I can access the data through any type of device, right? And through my mobile I can access my data, and through my laptop I can access my data. So it is a device compatibility one. Okay, I don't need to worry about that. Okay, and the last and important benefit is pay per use. Obviously, so in a very first video I have explained about the pay per use model. Say for an example, just if I am availing services from July 1 to July 30th, in the sense, only for that period only the charges will be get calculated. So after from the July 31st, if I am exit from the particular services in the sense, then the service, the service charge, the metering charge will not be calculated from the July 31st onwards. Okay, so that is called as allows pay per use. Okay, and these all are the various benefits of cloud computing. When an organization or when a person getting into the cloud computing, these benefits could be tasted by them. Okay, so without any issues. And like benefits, we are having some set of challenges also, obviously. So security issues would be there and privacy issues would be there, because I do not know where my data is residing, how my data could be protected. Okay, so these are the two important concerns when we are coming into the cloud computing environment. Okay, and coming to the data loss, and it is another challenges faced by the cloud computing environment as a cloud user. Say for an example, if I am having my mail details and some other data in a Google Drive in the sense, so how I can access that? By giving up my username and password, right? By giving up my username and password of that particular Google domain, right? Isn't it? So if I forget my username and password, and also if I'm not in a position to reset my password, then obviously whatever the data that I have in my drive, whatever the mail that I have in my Gmail, and whatever the data that I'm having under the Google Docs, so I'm not in a position to access all these things. Obviously whatever the data that that is residing in the particular Google environment under my username, and everything gonna lost if I'm unable to reset my password, in the sense if I'm unable to find out my forgotten password, in the sense, obviously all the data would be lost only. Okay, this is one of the important challenges faced by the cloud end user. And obviously the next one is the vendor lock-in. Obviously if I am having a data in one vendor, then it is very difficult for me to move my data from one vendor to another vendor, from one cloud service provider to another cloud service provider. Okay, that is an important issue in another another issue in a cloud computing environment. And coming to the next one, so the performance is highly based on internet bandwidth. Obviously if I'm having a high bandwidth, the performance will be high, which means that the services from CSP to the user, that will be delivered to the user in a very fast manner. Suppose if I'm having an internet connection, if my bandwidth is very low, in the sense, obviously the performance will be get degraded. So okay, so normally the based on the internet bandwidth only, the performance, this particular cloud computing performance will be measured. Okay, and next one, availability. So obviously, so suppose if my remote server goes down, or if my network goes down, in the sense, then I'm not in a position to avail the data that is reside in my cloud computing. So these are some set of challenges of the cloud computing, and we will dig much deeper about the challenges and the security issues in the cloud computing in later phase of the video. Okay, fine, surely we will see that. And with this note, I will wind up this particular video. And if you wish, you can ping or follow me through any one of the social media platform. And this is my YouTube channel name, and if you wish, you can subscribe my channel for latest videos. Okay, and I'm very happy to see you, and very happy to share my ideas with you all. Thank you guys. We will see you on the next video. Thank you.